feeling real, y'all. Are you ready to go? Tell me what you wanna know. A real live episode. Mike Gilcreast podcast show. Hey, are you ready? Hey, are you ready? Are you ready to go? Tell me what you wanna know. A real live episode. Mike Gilcreast podcast show.
Yours truly. Hey, happy snow days to the people in the cold and the snow, South Carolina, North Carolina, Atlanta, Georgia, Ohio, just DC, Maryland, Virginia, all these other states is full of snow and ice and cold weather. And believe it or not, I teach you guys. And we got a little bit of cold here. It was in the 20s here in Orlando, by Orlando, Florida. In the 20s. It was in the 20s. And we got to church this morning. It was 40-something degrees in church. The water was frozen at the church. And so once the heat came on, then the water started unthawing and the faucets began to work. But it was like below freezing here in Florida. We got the heat blasting. I got the heat on both levels of my house and heat's on. I'm like, boy, oh boy, but hey, this is no joke. The beautiful thing about being cold here in Florida, it only lasts a few days, and then it's gone. It's gonna start warming up. But I'm like, boy, we had to leave the heat on at the church when we left today, and so the pipes don't freeze and stuff. And boy, it is crazy. I never imagined this to be this cold. We've been here 4 years. It's never been in the 20s, 30s, yes, not the 20s. Oh my God! And so. Believe it or not, I mean, we could have got some snow here. Northern Florida, up by Tallahassee and stuff. Excuse me, they get it there. Panama City, just the northern Florida. They call it LA, Lower Alabama, but they get the snow up that way. But I'm like, whoa. So totally unbelievable for me. But we're enduring the cold. We have to pull the coats out, so just to stay warm. You have to wear socks now because their feet are freezing. And so I never thought this would be me. That's why I moved to Florida to get away from this cold, the snow and everything. But oh my God, we get a taste of it like flashback, like whoa. So I can only imagine what y'all going through up north. And so be safe, as always. But just to know, y'all sharing the wealth down here with cold weather and stuff like that. I mean, it is something. And we have to go out tomorrow. It's going to be cold. And I think today got to like maybe 50, maybe 40 something, 50. And so not really pleasant, not, pleasant for me, because I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to wear coats and stuff, but have no choice. And so it was 44 today, the high, 44. Yeah, and right now it is just so you know, because it's 35 right now, and our low today is going to be 23, just so you know. And not that I do weather and stuff like that, but and tomorrow it's going to be 54 high, 27 low, and Tuesday it's going to be 33 low, 62 high, and then 71. And so I'm like, whoa. But now you got the update and how it is Florida, because if you think about moving down this way, it's only a few cold days, and then we mix it up. Wednesday's going to be the 71. So hopefully I can get out there and wash my car and stuff. But I just ate some from a Peruvian restaurant, a whole red snapper fish fried nice, and with some rice and okra and coleslaw. And so delicious. Absolutely delicious. And so I tore that thing up. It was the whole snapper. And so very good. So I'm good to go. I got my protein in and veggies. And so I'm, looking to move it forward. Now I'm on the Mike Gilcreast show, live and in person. We are here to talk about, you know, being single parents, which is a hard task, and having ICE chasing down single moms and moms with kids and doesn't help, doesn't help at all. And so people are going through a lot of traumatic things. Not only you have bad relationships or bad kids, and now we got the bad government, that's evicting ICE and people from ICE, and believe it or not, a lot of people from the same countries that the people are getting evicted where they're legal aliens, if that's what they call them, or foreigners, and so they don't want them here as well. I'm like, America's supposed to be land of the free. You're born here, you should be, able to stay here. And it's kind of like my take, if you're born here, then you should be able to stay here and get your citizenship. If I was born in Russia, then I should have a Russian citizenship. I should have dual citizenship because I'm Russian American. Then same thing should happen for anybody else that's born here. Not we changing laws and stuff like that. I feel bad for the families, for real, the kids and moms who they're separated. And even early on, last couple of years, a lot of children been separated from their parents, and they keep them in holding places. And God knows what they're doing to them kids, for real. God knows. God only knows, for real, what they're doing to those kids. Because the way you got pedophiles, everybody, because you wear a uniform or whatever, doesn't mean you're legit. And so I can only imagine what kids are going through and stories that would probably never be told until years down the line after the traumatic experience of their brain finally realize it. And then we hear these stories of what was happening. But you can imagine all the kids in a holding place and all these people that call themselves guards and stuff and soldiers and military people, they got histories. And I'm not saying they're bad, but it could be, the potential exists. And so if you don't give them straight coverage, and where it's 2 or 3 people actually monitoring a certain segment of people, I'm like, come on, we got to keep our kids safe. And to be a single parent, that's even harder. And imagine being a single parent and then you got snatched away from your kid because of ICE, and they're arresting Americans now. And what if you're legit and legal, and that your kids and you are separated? It's tough. It is tough, and that's the stuff I kind of bring out. But it's tough being a single parent. It is tough, and I have the utmost respect for single parents and stuff. The ones that's doing it right, and the ones that not doing it right, and a lot of times in their defense, they probably don't know how. You got babies having babies, and they probably don't know how to be the best mom or the best parent, and so it can be difficult. And then that child, if they don't come from a strong foundation, now you're going to start that cycle over. So when they have kids, and then their kids have kids, and we're going to be mismanaged, and never have like an even keel place we should be at. Yes. Hello to my dear sister, Linda, from Mike and Mel. And yes, it's unbelievable. The weather down here in Florida, I see the comment, and it is unbelievable. Seriously, I moved here for that, but it's only a few days, and so Wednesday we will be back to t-shirts and what have you. So shorts, what have you. It's going to be 71, so that's pretty nice here. But I'm waiting for this to pass. The Earth does this little spin, and then when our weather changes and the atmosphere changes, and we're going to eventually get more sunlight. And our grass, a lot of it's green, but it's dormant, so it doesn't really grow. You still got to cut it every 3-4 weeks, but it doesn't grow. Only certain places may, because I have an irrigation system, so my water still get my lawns still get low water, and so yeah, but things moving. I didn't know I was going to get an irrigation system when I moved to Florida, but it's kind of like automatic when you get houses and stuff down here. So we get that, so that goes to the water bill. And my biggest utility is water, believe it or not. My utility bill is like for um over 3,000 square feet home, at 3,300 square feet, I think, something like that. My utility is about $35 a month. My gas bill is about $35 a month. Electric bill, well, yeah, that's the utilities. Oh, I have solar panels, so Yeah, so I'm like, "Oh, yeah." So people is like, we run our heat on both levels all day, all night, and my electric bill is probably 30. It might go up to 40, $50 because we rented it because of the wintertime, but generally it's 35, if that, $27 a month. We have solar panels, so that absorbs most of it. So we can run our heat and not worry about the cost, so that's a blessing. But water is our biggest utility here. And so gas, and we don't pay a lot for gas. And so just like, so some benefits of being, down here and stuff like that, the utilities and stuff like that. And water, we can handle that. A monthly is probably $150 a month, So and I think that's high. All right. So back to getting to the show and stuff like that. I'll give you some updates on how life and living here. But the beautiful thing about here is a lot of restaurants. I think we're having Jamaican tomorrow. I want some Jamaican, like escovitch. I think it's escovitch. It's like stewed fish and with the peas and rice and some cabbage and some macaroni and cheese. And so I'm looking to get some of that tomorrow, hopefully. And we called today and they were out, and so we hope to get some tomorrow. But we probably get Thai or something, but it's a lot of places to eat. I mean, seriously, down here, a lot of different cultures, so it's so easy to find, things that you want to eat and stuff like that. And take a trip down here, come and visit our church, and visit the area and stuff like that, and check us out. And if I know you and have some time, I may even take you out to dinner. You just never know. And depends on my schedule. Sometimes we have to leave right after church, but if not, we like to hang around sometimes and fellowship and go from there. But I'm kind of down to earth, and so what you see is what you get. And but I like to keep things real, and so we could go from there. All right. So we got to learn to get along as people first of all, and so if relationships can start off right, with courting, dating, marriage, then kids. I mean, I think that's the best example for any family. If we could just start it off right, and then you don't have to worry about baby mama this and single parent dad and whatever. And we could alleviate a lot of things if we could just start getting along and starting off at the right plateau, at the right plane, the right level, playing field. And so if we could do that, oh my God, I think that will alleviate a lot of issues that we have with our parents and so forth, so on. So in the relationships, and then our kids, and then and I did say kind of I was a deadbeat guy, dad and stuff like that, because I lived in a different state, didn't have the finances between jobs, all kind of stuff, and finally got things on the right track, and then got my boys got through school and this, that, and other. So I ended up getting custody of my kids, both of them, and so so it was hard. And so I wasn't single, I was married, but then my wife was a stepmom to them, and she took on the duty like like nothing. And like these her kids and this, that, and other. But it was a blended effort, and things worked out well. So there's success stories to being single parent. I've used myself as an example. You read my book, you're going to get the real story live and in person when you read the book. But on the real, um, um, there's great success stories out of being single parent. But don't limit your chances. Like single moms, I gotta tell you, you're a single parent, but you're a single mom first, right? Or a single lady, because you don't have a spouse, right? And so you're a single lady. Don't give up your stuff. Don't have sex. You got kids, look out for the kids, because anybody you date, you gotta ensure that they're should be Christian if that's what you prefer, right? But have a balanced life. And then, a lot of times we give it up to the next person, next person, next person, and then you end up being with none of the people. And now that has set a bad example for the kids that you're trying to rear or raise. And it doesn't work. It really doesn't work. And so save yourself. Even though you messed up or somebody broke up with you or you got a divorce, you still got value. And that guy I used to watch, and I like some things he said, that Kevin Samuels guy, and he was pretty much telling women to give it away, give it away. You know, had kids with somebody else, give it away. And that's how you get AIDS, sexual transmitted diseases, and this and that. Save yourself, and if you raise your kid the right way, you're going to attract the right people to look at you and say, this woman is for real. I done seen single moms, seriously, with one, mostly one kid, very seldom two, end up getting into successful relationships. And it worked out for them beautiful. And they lived the family, and the guy that she married loved the kids, and it worked out. It's a beautiful story. It's a fairy tale, and it happens. But because you messed up, made mistakes, got pregnant too early, whatever, do not think it's over because I'm not married. I'm raising these kids. I'm not making enough money. If you carry yourself in a decent way, seriously, you carry yourself in a decent way. You keep your hair fixed up, this, that, nothing, because you're trying to attract. You're a mom, but you still can be beautiful and interesting, and I want to say diva, but you got your stuff together, and then that would draw the attention. And to have a kid when you got yourself together, dude be like, oh, I might be interested. And the thing is, I'm giving you good advice because I'm writing a book for women, and all this stuff is going to be, some parts of it's going to be in the book, and so I'm giving you some really good pointers so you could plan ahead. Because I talk to so many people, single moms, this and another, and I tell them, I'm telling you, I tell women, and they come to my book signing. I'm talking to people in different states. I'm in South Carolina, I'm in North Carolina, I'm in Georgia, I'm in Louisiana, just different places, Florida, just doing book signings. And they want me in other places as well, to do more book signings. I got one next week. I'm in Tampa all week. We do Tampa a lot because I live here locally. So I do Tampa and Melbourne a whole lot because I'm really close here. But I love a lot of book signings. But I talk to women. I say, "How you doing? I'm still single. Are you dating? Yes." And then I ask them, "Are you staying? What's that word? Celibate, right?" And they're like, "No." I say, "What are you doing?" I say, "So tell me, what state is the relationship in?" "Oh, we're not getting along. We're not making." I'm saying, keep yourself. Why add up body counts trying to get the right one? And the one girl, she come to me and I make her feel guilty because it makes no sense. You got a kid and you were sleeping around. You're attracted, but uh, you're going to lose your value. You know what I mean? If you look at it, think about it, right? And I'll give you an analogy. And we talk about single parent, but we're talking about being single too, right? And if a woman's 20, 21, right? Let's do the legal age. Let's do 18. If a woman's 18 and the guy's 18, who has the highest sexual value? Of course, the woman, because she a woman, right? And so now she's 21 and the guy's 21. Who has the highest sexual value? Of course, the woman. So now she's 25 and the guy's 25. Who have the highest sexual value? It's still the woman, because the guy's still trying to find himself. He ain't got his act together. And we date these guys. Oh, he's cute, this, that, another. But dude ain't got his act together. And then now the woman's 30 and the guy's 30. Who have the highest sexual value? And of course, it's still the woman. Now you jump it up another 5 years. So now the woman's 35 and the guy's 35. Who had the highest sexual value? Now that begins to shift. Because, 35 puts a woman in high risk pregnancy category. So the sexual value changes. And so you don't want to, I'm getting 35 and I don't have a baby because I'm ready to have a child because nobody married me. People panic. If you carry yourself the right way, you're going to attract the right attention. A lot of times we don't carry ourselves the right way. And then we wonder why this not working out? Why that's not working out? Why I can't get a man? Why I'm this? Why I'm that? And the thing is, you can't panic because things haven't worked out for you yet. You have to keep on keeping on, and allow life to take its place. Life has its own nature. You don't beg for it to rain. When it's time to rain, it's going to rain. We didn't ask for this cold, but when it's time to be cold, it's going to be cold. Nature handles itself. But when we try to help nature or rush nature, if you go back to the Bible, that's what happened with Sarah and Hagar and Abraham. They try to rush it versus wait for the natural process. You see what I'm saying? And so if you learn to wait and take your time, it gets that much better. Your opportunity become, even if you get older, you're slimmer, but the opportunity still exists. And I talk about this because we look at people getting older and they want to have a kid because they're getting older and they're not married. And some even go to what you call them places. I don't know the name of the official names, but they're like sperm donor places, and they get inseminated with somebody's sperm, and then they get pregnant and they don't know who it's by. That is the most non-natural way to do it. But desperation called for that. And then they get the kid and they're not happy because they still don't have the man. Come on, it's crazy. And so I'm just giving scenarios and stuff like that, but it's real life, real talk, about how, the evolution of life work when people want kids and people don't mind getting older and then they want to have kids. And, that's the wrong mindset. But people don't tell you. You don't see it on the news. You won't see it on 6 o'clock news, the 5 o'clock news. You won't see it on CNN. You won't see it on all these other C-SPAN, this, that, and other. How the burden of when the father, even if the father is at home, but the mothers are taking care of the kids, doing most of the work, it's a burden. BURDEN. It's a burden, for real. And then I read articles and stuff like that. One article says, what if the strongest person you know is silently carrying an invisible weight? You look at people and say, oh, you're strong, but yet they got a weight on them. You don't see it. You see the person they want you to see. Oh, are you happy? Everything's going good for you, da, 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 da. But yet they got an invisible weight. Invisible. You can't see it, but it exists. And it's heavy for that person that's carrying it, right? And you can't imagine, what is it? What is the invisible weight? What's holding you down? You got everything going for you, right? It's being a single parent. You don't get the vacations. You don't get the breaks. You could barely afford to be sick being a single parent. It's tough. It's tough. And that's why I'm talking all this other stuff, because I want us to make better choices. Little 13, 14-year-old girls think it's cute. Oh, they got a little cute behind and they body filling out just right. And they looking all, sexy and this, that, and the other. And they think they're doing something. Up until I had a family member. She nice little shape, beautiful young lady. And she's all out there showing her hips, got on her shorts, and everything good until she got that first baby. And then it's like, oh, it's not the same. I'm hanging out with the dude and he's not doing nothing for the kids. And then, the baby get 2 years old and you turn around and get pregnant. Huh? You turn around and get pregnant again. What? Now, help me out. Does that make sense? But that's what we do. That's how young people, they go get pregnant again and think their choices of settling this guy down who got you pregnant the first time, no ring was offered, no marriage was offered, no lifelong thing, no support that's going to help you get through and make it through. And you asking people, I need money. I can't get Pampers. I can't get milk. I can't. And why do we think if we have kids that the money's going to come, life is going to be easy, everybody's going to love me? Everybody else is having the same problem you're having. You're in line with welfare trying to get food stamps and a stipend, which they're going to limit people on how long you can be on welfare. Then what do? Then you got to try to get school lunches, and then the lunch food at school is not even healthy for the kids. What do we do? Now your kid's sick, so what do? Life is not planned for success. You have to plan your life for your own success. Whether you're going to be in a relationship, whether you're going to be single, or whether you're going to do something positive with your life, you have to plan it. You can't just jump. Life is not like what it was. I mean, my dad, got my mom pregnant, and my mom ended up with 10 kids, and the dad left in jail back and forth. This is my dad, my family's true story, right? He going back and forth. My dad was barely ever home. Then when they got divorced, I never really got to see him as much as I want. And my mom was doing all the work. And that's why I could see being a single parent, even from that perspective, was terrible. I turned out, pretty good. I turned out pretty all right, I think. And but the struggle of it, it was not a pretty picture. Not knowing how you're going to eat, hoping the electric didn't get turned off, getting evicted from the house. I mean, come on. I lived through that as that child being raised by a single parent, even though my mom was married to my dad, but my dad was never there. That's why I could talk to married people and say, it's amazing when the mom got to raise the kids and the husband don't help out with the kids. And it's hard on that mom. So that mom is being treated like a single parent. And it's an invisible burden that's hurting families. It's giving people PTSD. And they're like, some women would love to say, I'm raising these kids if I can just get a break. If I can, take, twice a year, every 6 months, just get a break so I can breathe a little. I love my kids, but you can't take that vacation. You could barely save up enough money to take the vacation. That's why I keep saying it's tough. It's tough because I do this. I'm retired, and just all the work I do, I'm like, I need a break. I tell my wife I need a break. I got to get away, and so I'm not chasing kids around. I'm not wiping noses. I'm not changing diapers. I'm not getting on in clothes. I'm not going back and forth to PTA meetings, but just with my normal life, I need a break. So I understand that a person raising kids would need a break. Does that make sense? Well, I'm a little sympathetic for single parents, but I hate the choices that they make, and to keep themselves down. Okay, you did it once because I had kids out of wedlock. I understand that. And the thing is, but sometimes, yes, honestly, it's wrong to be having sex anyway. But I got my first child, my oldest son, his mom got pregnant the first time and she had abortion. And I was in high school. I knew nothing about fatherhood. And so, and this, that, and another. So the stupid part of me, I'm calling myself stupid because I was irresponsible and you ain't got to call me stupid. I knew I was stupid. And I wasn't even thinking that way. But it was stupid to not only get her pregnant once and she had an abortion, but to get her pregnant again. That's like, that didn't make sense. That didn't make sense at all. So now you can see why I'm passionate about that. Now I got to pay this woman, because I'm not going to be with her, child support. I got to pay her child support. And the thing is, it got behind. Then I had to pay back child support. Man, they was coming left and right. And even from a man's perspective, the father's perspective, it's hard. It wasn't easy just to pay child support, living in a different place, trying to commute from one state to another to just make the court. It's hard. It's not easy. It's easy to have sex. The easiest part of relationship is having sex. That's the easiest part. But there's a price you pay for every time. Whether it's for 18 years and now they raised it could be 26 years if they're in school. You pay a price on both sides. It's not a fun thing. You pay a price. You pay a price for sex. Whether you get AIDS, STDs, you pay a price. Whether you get jacked up in a female system, you got to get a hysterectomy, you pay a price. Seriously. And it's not fun. Why do we make it fun? In America, you glamorize sex. You buy a car with sex. But nobody wants the outcome. Now you see this woman waddling down the street, back and forth because she got a big belly in front of her. That's not people don't advertise that. I think pregnant women are beautiful. I do. I think pregnant women are beautiful. It don't matter who they are. I just think it's just a glow about them. I think it's beautiful. But if you don't set it up and do it right, the outcome is hard for the single mom and the child. And some dads that have custody of their kids, it's hard for them. because you can't have the normal life. And then you want a mom to help raise the kids, but then it's hard to find a mom to raise. If you're a guy, it's hard, just as hard as it's to find a man to be a father to the kids. It's hard because then you get that other thing, and I haven't even talked about this yet. You know how you know I come to a woman's life and she got a kid already, and you paying all the bills at your house, this and another, and then you chastise that kid. Now the mom gonna have a problem with you for chastising the kid. You got to get all that stuff worked out. Because if they have a problem with you chastising, that's not the relationship you want to be in. See, the thing is, we don't ask questions. Are you going to discipline my child? And if I did, or if I discipline your child, would you have a problem with it? You got to ask those questions. Because the thing is, that child can mess up your relationship. And then you might not want to marry her. You might not want to be with her. And so now that's another disaster. So that's another waste of time, another body count. And life doesn't stop because you messed up. You get older, and then the only thing you can do even older is mess up. And then I feel bad for the women that's over 35, and then they go get pregnant by some sperm bank and trying to figure out life. And then at the end of the day, is they still lonely and burdensome, and now they got a child, because your personal needs and your personal loneliness is not going to be eradicated by a child. It's not going to be resolved by you having a child. You only can go the distance with a child unless you one of them perverted moms that get, that's not my conversation, but it happens. You got perverted moms that have incest with their kids. Come on. So that's not my conversation. I'm just putting it out there. Let's ask answer a couple questions. Let's see what we got out here. All right. Boy, this is some good stuff. First question: What are some good parenting techniques? Right. I covered a lot. I love this subject because I grew up in it. I was kind of like a product of being a single child growing up. So I'm on the inside speaking. So I'm really passionate about this. And but what are some positive techniques, positive parenting techniques? And you know what? Being a parent, and I got to say this first before I address it. Being a parent, being married, being a pastor, whatever, does not come with instructions. You gotta hope to take the best advice that you've seen growing up and try to put together and say, this makes sense. There's a lot of successful families out there, and they're still close and together. A lot of families aren't together. Don't talk to me, don't look at me, whatever. And we're brothers and sisters, And but it's ways to do it right. But to have positive parenting techniques, husband and wife gotta first agree on how the child should be disciplined. If you're a blended family, you got to still agree on how the child is to be disciplined. And if you don't have no discipline, no corporal punishment, then you're going to have problems going in. If the child get to do what they want, y'all seen the kids in the store telling mom, I hate you, mommy. I hate you. I hate you. And getting a fit because you wouldn't buy them a little G.I. Joe or that little dollhouse, Barbie or whatever, And so that's what happens when kids don't get disciplined. They have tantrums and you get embarrassed and hold on. And for me, I'm not even worried about that. I say, you got one more time to act up and we go in the car and fix this. You know what I mean? And I don't play that. I would discipline my child, spanking, whatever. I'm all for it. I'm all for corporate punishment. I'm from a Bible perspective, spirit of rod for the child. Our kids are terrible. They're terrible. They're disrespectful. They cuss at their parents and they tell them no. They call their mom this, that, that. If you allow that, some parents allow it. I can't see it. And then they kids grow up and get on the street and think they do the same thing until they get beat down, and then they realize I can't do that. And so either the parent teach them the right way, or they will learn the right way by being on the streets. They will, I guarantee it. They're going to learn. All right. But you got to speak the same language. Parents have to speak the same language. And you communicate between the two parents. You communicate what happens with that child, and then you have them a positive life, like so much time on computers, so much time on TV, so much time to play outside. You have to be interacting with your kids, and a lot of times we give our kids a little iPad, little computer, and then we let that system raise them. Dora or whatever they're out there, and then they're all inundated with that iPad. and then they don't want to listen to mom because they learn from them that they allowed to talk back. I'm telling you, you gotta watch how much your kids are being exposed to on social media for real, and them games that they play and buy, and you think it's all cute. The kids should be learning what 1+1 is, ABC, the colors and stuff, and history. They should be learning stuff like that, not the stuff that junk that they're being taught on social media that you pay money for them to teach your kid that. So you guys speak the same language. You have to be in church. You have to be able to pray together, stay together, kind of thing. I believe that family that prays together stays together. So uh, uh, that's the advice I give on that. All right. So what's next? What we have? Get down to some of these questions. Yeah. All right. When it comes to raising children, what is your understanding of the difference between punishment and discipline? You know, when you discipline your child, punishment and discipline can be the same thing, but when you discipline your child, right, you may not, strike them. You may stand in the corner, go to your room, you take things away from them. So that's discipline. It's also punishment. So they're like the same thing. Uh, uh, um, um, it just discipline seems less intrusive, less violent. Punishment seems like, oh, boom, boom. All right. I can't see a big difference, but it just seems more like punishment is discipline, and discipline is punishment. So, um, um, not much of a difference there for me. All right. Do you do you believe whom couples listen to the couples when do you believe when couples listen to your podcast? Where is they? Do you believe when couples listen to your podcast, it opens up a new world of conversation? I think so. I think we need this. I think it's hard to you have friends. Sometimes your friends are jealous of you, so you got to be careful of getting advice from your friends. But sometimes it's good to get it from a neutral source. The great thing about me, I'm an author, and then I'm a pastor, and then I've had on my wall, I have you know uh, over here on the wall, I can't on my wall behind me by the picture. So I have certificates of. I've been to trainings. I got trainings and doing counseling and that type stuff. Um, um, so I have experience. So I bring it, but I think it's good to get it from a non-interested party. Sometimes you gotta ask your parents. If you think your parents raised you well, parents are great sources to go to, but sometimes that's not the case. And but I think by being out here, is this my forum is not less intrusive. I don't know what your situation is. You gotta ask the questions, and I'm going to answer it, and you make your choice from there. But then you should discuss that, pray, whatever, with your significant other or your spouse, and then say that was great advice, and then we're gonna do this, that, and other. But you have to keep the dialogue open from your kids. When you stop dialoguing with your kids, that's when they start hiding stuff from you. My grandkids call me. Like the day before yesterday, my grandson called me. We talk about life. Yesterday, my grandson called me, my other grandson, and we talk about life. And so I open up a dialogue so they want to reach to me to talk because I don't, I'm not raising them, but I'm able to give them good advice about life, and I'm in a position where they respect what I'm doing. And but that's amazing, how you could talk to your kids, but you got to build that dialogue so your kid will know you trust in and they talk to you. You're not going to beat them down. You got to know, I always had this rule for my kids. First time you do something, if you let me know, you be honest, then I give you one up. But if you do it again, now you're looking at punishment. All right. And and from there, but yeah, I think that dialogue is a great thing to do to open up between you both and go from there. All right. But yeah, I think my shows help people on a lot of different formats and stuff like that, and that's why I do it. I mean, and my podcast is a extension of my book signings, because what y'all see here, I do a lot of that and even more at my book signings for real. And we get in depth in people's lives and stuff like that. All right. Go from there. All right. Next one. It says, do you think what do you think is the most underrated quality in a person? I don't know. I like honesty for me, having good moral character and honesty, those two things, um, for me, I mean, I can speak what I think. And for me, honesty is like probably at the highest point. And then moral character is next. But honesty is like if I can't trust you, nothing happens. No trust, no relationship. And but after I trust you, you have to have good moral character. And so that's kind of like how I base things and stuff like that. The thing is, I was a dog, I was a mess, whatever, right? Even though I did these things, if you read my book, you know what I'm talking about. Uh, um, I was still honest. You know, I was dating girls and I was still honest. I told them I live with someone and I'm married and separated and I told everybody the truth seriously, and people had an option and they still wanted to do it. I even told them I had kids, so I was a single parent as well. And when I was out there doing the stuff I was doing, um, it is what it is, and so honesty. I mean, you gotta like I told y'all, I always tell y'all, do a check sheet of things that you like and dislike in a person. And when you see that, when you go to date, court, get married, that kind of stuff, you check it off. If they don't qualify, check them off. Don't compromise to make a relationship happen. And depends on what item it is. But if the guy tell you that, he barely stays with anybody for more than 3 months, check that joker off. You can't be a dad to me, my kids, nothing. And so get that joker out of there. If a girl tell you she want to go out and hang out with her girlfriends and stuff like that, she's shallow. So get her out of there. So stuff that makes sense. Have a check sheet and be serious about it and go from there. All right. So here's another question. All right. Do you think the most difficult part of being a single parent, is keeping up with the bills, supplying what the kids need? You know what? That I think the whole thing, because I was married. I was married before, and my first wife, and I did a lot for my son. I did a whole lot. And I used to get upset because I'm like, you lazy. You didn't even change his diaper. I used to get upset, seriously. And I go change his diaper. I'm like, that's my dude, man. And so some women, I'll tell you, some women are nasty. I'm not saying my ex-wife was nasty. I'm saying overall, I know stories of women that let the diaper stay on the kid all day long. Not in my life, but all day long. And hmm, all day long, and wait till the other parent, the father, come home to change the child. I'm telling you, and so I think the whole thing is hard. And if you're a single parent and you keep it up with no, you will say, let me read this question again because it's pretty inclusive. Do you think the most difficult part of being a single parent is keeping up with bills and supplying what the kids need? And so it is, because that's why women compromise. I'm telling you, it's not the right reason. That's why women sleep with all these dudes to help get the light bill, the electric bill, the food on the table, gas in the car. That's why they do it. They sleep with dudes to get the essential stuff that they need. And it's the wrong thing to do, but that's what they do. Now I'm saying save yourself, go through the struggle, and hopefully you get a better relationship. But I think it's unfair. That's why child support should be in play for that reason, for the people that's going to right. But I'm against the ones, and that's why I said President Donald Trump should be calling me to come and help me, let me revamp the whole system. Because some women would get the child support and spend it on their next dude, spend it on going out, spend it on them getting BBLs and makeup and manicure, pedicures, whatever, right? Getting their hair done. And so they don't put the money in the right place for the kids. They don't take care of the house the way they're supposed to. Look at the dude who, Anthony Edwards. He's supposed to have had a kid with this woman. He didn't want to be with him. He gave her child support for the whole year. I mean, for the whole 18 years. So it's something like $1.2 million, whatever, right? And she blew it. How you gonna blow all that money? And this is an example of what I'm saying. Women get this money and they blow it, and they're like, I need more money. You need to pay more on your child support. Well, I need to see my child. You need to get more money. You don't pay to see your kid. If you're paying child support, the law legally require you to see your kid. So I'm saying that the woman can't deny you from that. And so it's so many avenues out there. But yeah, I agree. It is difficult to be a single parent and you keep up with the bills and you got take care of what the kids need. It's not fair. And that's why I did help out, even though I was deadbeat. When I could, I did help out, but it wasn't enough. I didn't get credit for it because what I did, it wasn't going through the court system to give me credit. And so I had one child going through the court system, and then the other child didn't. I worked it out with my ex-wife, and so she never took me to court for child support, like never. So she was cool on that part. All right. And so I have to give her kudos and stuff like that. So she was cool. She never, ever, ever took me to child support. She only threatened me. She threatened me and threatened me. If you don't do this, I'm taking. But she never took me. So that was just that was a burden for me. I'm like, I just got married. I'm telling my wife, my new wife, I said, she threatened to take me child support. And I put it in my book. And I'm like, my ex-wife, my current wife, she said, just pay her. Just pay her. I'm like, I can't. And come to find out I could. I wasn't managing the bills right. And so I was able to do that. But yeah. But yeah, it's hard. It's hard. It's hard. Even a man paying his side, it's hard if he, want to be a good dad. And so I believe in child support if it's going to be done the right way, but if it's not, it should not be. And then I don't think it should be overpriced. And I think the way they add up the numbers is kind of like not right. And then some people lie on the income, so that's not right. So you're never going to get a real picture of what it's supposed to be unless they revamp the system. All right. And so nobody, gets away with anything. But kids are the one at the end of the day get neglected, whether the child support order in place or not. Kids are the one seriously get neglected at the end. Because if the parent is absent, that kid need that parent, and you won't know until the mistakes are made, and then they're like, oh my God, if I was home, this wouldn't have happened to my child, or my child wouldn't have got involved with that. That's the pieces you miss that your children get involved with because you can't give a kid too much freedom. Idle minds, devil's workshop. So you got to be able to put that time in and make sure you understand what's going on in your child's life. And and let them know that they're safe with you and that type of stuff. All right. All right. Here's a question. It says, when do you think it's a good idea to introduce your kids to the new person in your life? That's a great question. That is a great question. Let me drink some lemon water. I need a thought on that, right? That's a good question. Eh, I'll be real. And especially if I was a woman, because the time we live in now is difficult. And being that, trust but verify. We had this saying at the Pentagon. I work with hundreds of millions of dollars and $1 trillion, and I worked with a lot of money at the Pentagon, right? And we had this saying, somebody could give you something, you got to check it out. And we had the saying, trust but verify. And when you get into dating or courting and you're getting serious, this and another, I think this is Mike Gilcreast. I think you should check that person out. Seriously. Because you don't know what people are scamming. I mean, I heard of a story recently where a dude was wine and dining this lady. See the wine and dining this lady. And he went to a restaurant, ran up everything, and then he took off. Or whatever, he set her up. But I'm saying older women with money, this, that, and other, a lot of times they got to watch for being scammed, but you got to check people out, especially if you got kids in play and make sure that dude's legit. And you got to monitor, you got to watch them. You got to make sure that they who they say they are. And I tell women, even on a nonchalant, I was in the area, pop up at their job, and if it's not a job where they get fired from, but pop up, to see what their interests are in you. Because a lot of times you got to catch the dude off guard. And me and my wife had this conversation, and this, I'm kind of change the subject a little bit, but get the idea what I'm saying, right? When I was living in Connecticut, but I was on assignment at the Pentagon. So in the Pentagon, in Connecticut, I have my own apartment. And then at the Pentagon, I had my apartment because I was on temporary duty down there, right? And I had all kinds of women. Boom, 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 boom. My place was like a bachelor pad, you know. And the thing is, me and my wife now were talking, and she showed up at my apartment one time, and I didn't know she was coming, and I had rules where you could never show up unless you called. I had to have everything was in place. Oh, I'm not seeing you. You don't even bother to call me, whatever. Don't just pop up. But anyway, she popped up, and I was so glad nobody popped up. And I like, because I told her I had this thing, because that's one thing she forgave me for, because I was cheating while I was engaged. But anyway, uh, um, you got to check people out. And I'm telling you all this stuff about me because you had to check me out, because you would have caught me. I mean, if you'd have caught me, like if she'd have came to Connecticut and just popped up, oh my God, our relationship would have been done. I'm serious, it would have been done, totally done. All right, and that's why I'm telling you to pop up doing nonsense. I was thinking about you, and I mean, just be something real. And even with profiling, or not profiling, but a police check or something, like, you got to do something, because people not what they say they are. And then it'd be nice. I hate to say this, but even if you got to see what their expenses are and finances, that's hard to do. But that'd be awesome. Just let them lay down. What's your plan for us? How you see us? Whatever. Could you provide for us? Excuse me. You gotta ask the right questions. And because before you expose that kid to that person, you should check them out. Because a lot of times, I've seen shows where, you know, um, a woman dating this guy, and her daughter's a teenager, and she's filling out this and that. But the dude was after the daughter, but the mom believed the dude and not the daughter, and kicked the daughter out. See, that's messed up. That's messed up. That's what I'm saying. You gotta check these people out. And these stories, you don't just write stories. This is stuff that happens. A lot of times, a boyfriend, you gotta watch the stepdads and boyfriends and stuff like that, because they could be after your sons and daughters now. And it's hard. That's why it's terribly hard for a single parent. Even for me, I mean, if I was single parent and then I'm trying to date and stuff like that, I gotta make sure that woman not gonna abuse my kid. You know, that's important. And it's the same way how a woman should look. I mean, I am guarded, and I watch everything. I watch for things when you think I'm not even watching. Then I can give you a great summation of what I see and what you're doing, whether I like it, agree, disagree. Because that's important stuff. And so dudes and women should do the same thing, but you gotta check them out. Because I think your kids don't just need to meet anybody. A kid don't need to see different men going in and out of their mom's life, because it could change that perspective for that child. And you want to protect that child. And as they thought process grow, they will understand that, I'm supposed to be with one person at a time. I'm supposed to be married and then see what happens with that. But if you keep showing your child, multiple relationship, you're going to make your child a hoe, or promiscuous, and because you set the example, and then you wonder how your child got there. They were watching you, and and then mom, single parent, and then what happened? The daughter get 15, 16. Guess what she becomes? A single mom. Well, and then she tell mom, you did it, and then the mom get upset. But the mom caused it because she didn't show her how sorry she was for the mistakes she made. And because of that, she made a mistake. She ended up getting pregnant, and now she had to become a single parent. And that's why I've never said single parent was easy. I've been saying this since I've been on my show, that it's a hard thing to do. And I know it from being that child of a single parent who my mom was married. And so I've been on both sides, and it's no fun. It's no party. And then I was the lonely kid missing my dad. And so it's never one easy way to just summation, put it in summation, say this how it is. No, it is convoluted. It's so many layers of family ownership, family partnership, and building a family and going from single to single parent to marriage. It's so many steps in there. It's never just one way to do it. It's never just, do it one time and that's it. No, it doesn't work like that. I watch people go from being married to a man to being in a relationship with a woman to being married to a man again. And then they got problems when you have blended family. He got kids, you got kids, and then you try to blend it together, and then it doesn't work, and then they end up getting divorced. And now you start that proverbial cycle, and then you teaching your kids it's okay to separate, it's okay to divorce. And every time you break up in a regular relationship, you're practicing divorce. And so you tell your kid, and that's why no wonder the rates that we have, where marriages don't make it. 1 out of every 2, marriages don't make it. So you got like a 47% chance of your marriage actually making it. On top of everything else is going through. And then if you bring a kid to the picture and then you don't have, good disciplinary action in your family structure in that relationship, yeah, you're only reinventing the wheel to be unsuccessful. You want to set your life up for success. You want to set every relationship up for you with you for success. To go through relationship after relationship after relationship, yeah, you can get another man. You get another man. Keep getting older. I always tell people, keep getting older. I tell the women, keep getting older. Keep getting older. Because your value when you sexy and young and whatever at 25, 28, 29, and you get 40 and 38, 37, 38, 40, it ain't the same. You ain't the same. People don't look at you the same. Your market values change. That's why I started talking about market value, because you got to know where it's at, because women panic at 35 because I ain't have a child yet. What I'm do? And that's why they go to sperm banks and get anybody's kids. You don't know what monster you might raise. And then you're going to always challenge your thoughts. Did I do the right thing? A lot of women turn away the guy that they really should have been with. But he was just not there yet. Some women don't know how to take on guys and say, I could work with you. And I was one of those cases. I was one when my wife got with me, she was like, I could work with this guy. Because she told me, you said you have potential. She liked the potential I had. And we have, together we accomplished a whole lot, for real. But she was what I needed for the gifts in me to come out. Sometimes you don't match up the right way. And you think, we chase the wrong thing. A lot of times we chasing money and sex, for real. Those are 2 things. And we end up getting pregnant and by ourselves. And because you chase the wrong thing. A prostitute, think about it. A prostitute, and I'm not going there, I'm just example. A prostitute at 20 and a prostitute at 65. Who's going to be the better prostitute? And the same thing works. Your value changes. Could somebody at 65 get a guy? I'm sure you can, but it's not going to be what you want. And so you got to use your value. I tell women, use your value youth in your young age, but make better choices. Don't be a gold digger. Have values. Have yourself together. And whereas, I got a career, and if I get married, I may not work while I have kids, but at least you have a career. At least you have something to fall back on if you needed to. A lot of people in other cultures do that. They leave the job, they raise the kids, and then they may go back into the workforce because they're bored or something. Not because they had to go back to work. But you want to set yourself up like that. That's ideal. To take anything and live your life haphazardly, doing anything you want to do, you're not going to be happy at the end of the day. It's not going to work out for you at the end of the day. And so you're going to be disappointed. It's hard. Being married is hard. When you don't have your act together, you don't know how to, work through your problems. So if being married is hard and buried, a lot of marriages don't make it. Imagine cohabitating, blending families. It could be terribly hard. Imagine even after that being a single parent. And so you look at the different layers. It's no easy answer to reach success. But don't put yourself in bad situations and then you want the best outcome. I want the best outcome and people don't understand me. You can't have what you want. When your age start changing, like I can't go out there, being the guy I used to be in my 60s that I was in my 18s. I was a bad boy in my 18s, my teens and 20s, I was a bad boy, 30s. But I knew that life had to pass, but yet I still kept my value. See what I'm saying? And so I'm more selective now. If I was a single man to be out there, on who I decide to be with, and my age range can go from 20s to the 70s for real. I have a 50-year gap in there because I kept myself up. So people in their 70s want to talk to this. That's not my forte, but I'm just saying it exists. A woman at my age can't say the same thing. She can't go from her somebody in their 20s to whatever. Because imagine an 80-year-old woman with a 20-year-old dude. I guarantee you it's not going to work. All right, because your sexual market value is different. And so it doesn't work out like that. So it's just a lot we have to understand about life, and don't have unrealistic expectations and expect I'm going to get the best out of whatever I decide to do because I'm who I am. Well, Holly Berry's who she is, but she going through relationships, and look at Liz Taylor, who had so many different marriages and different guys. It doesn't work like that. Beauty and money doesn't make you happy. It does not. It never is equal happiness. All right. You have to make your own happiness. You got to find your own peace, and then you go for it. It's like that for real. You can't just do what you want to do. All right. We had real talk here on Mike Gilcreast Show. So I really appreciate you. We'll pick this back up, and like I said, I love talking about it because I've been a single parent. I've been a product of being a single child, and then I'm looking back, and I'm like, I want to give the best information to people because I bring a lot of experience to the table. I appreciate the question. Oh, I missed a question. I did. I missed a couple questions. Let's get these questions answered. Oh my God, I hate to leave and not answer the questions. Do you believe when couples listen to a podcast together, it opens up a new world conversation? And I think I just had something similar to that. I think it does. What I think works when couples listen is they both should be together, and they should have written questions down that's affected their relationship and ask a third party. I think that's good because that way you don't look at the answers being biased. You ask the question because you was on the show, but he might not answer the same way for me. But if you do it together, I think it'll bring y'all responses or bring that relationship, even closer together because you're on the same page and you're trying to find the same information. And then you get the same answer to both. I think they should do it together. Really, I think that's a really great idea. All right. Uh, uh, um, why is it so easy for a man just to leave a woman with kids and not do anything? Oh, you know what? Where y'all get these questions from? See, when I drink my lemon water, right? This one got cayenne pepper and some ginger in it. But anyway, it's great for the body, great for flushing the body, all kinds of stuff. Thing is, why is it so easy for a man just to leave? And the thing is, that's a great question. It really is. It's in my book, Unworthy Chosen Forgiven. It's in there. And my book's we're doing the final touches. It's about to be in Spanish and Audible. And it's supposed to be in Barnes and Noble as well. And and another 100 platforms. That my book is doing really well. It's helped a lot of people out of relationships. And that's why I say that the thing is in my book. And that question right there, that was like me. That question speaks directly to me. Even though it may be somebody else's or whatever, but I was married to my wife, right? And we had a kid together, and raising the kids, and the kid run home like, "Hey, daddy, da 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 da." And I was close to my son. I'm sorry, both my sons. I was close to them. I tell you time and again, I didn't want the mom. I wanted the son. So my kids didn't understand that. They don't understand that I was crazy about them, but now I ain't want nothing to do with their moms. But that's just personal story. But we keep going. I couldn't handle being in a marriage with my wife, even though she had my son. And I love my son. It's just my peace my mentality at the time, I couldn't handle being a supportive father and a provider for that family. And when guys reach a breaking point, this is, talk to men, they have to leave the situation. Because I'll tell you what happens if a man doesn't leave a situation and he's at his breaking point, somebody gonna get hurt for real. And so they leave for their sanity. So they leave everything behind because they're like, I lost my peace. We're not going nowhere with this. And they don't want to hurt that woman or that child because that's kind of like what can happen. Doesn't always happen, but it could happen. And and they have to leave. That's why guys leave for what I think. Because I was in this situation, I had to leave. And the thing is, I knew if I didn't leave, I probably would have been dead or in jail, for real. Even today, I've been dead or in jail. And so that's why I left. I left for my peace. That's why guys leave relationships and the kids, for what I think. Sometimes women, when they're in a tough relationship with a guy, they leave the family and everybody, and they leave, and you don't even know they're gone. So I think it worked both ways as well. Because women will leave, less likely women to leave, but it happens here and there. But guys leave far more greater. They just can't handle the task between the husband and wife. They can't handle it anymore. And then they way out is to just leave and let it go. And so that's what they do. They let go and get out of a relationship for their peace of mind. Because if they don't, I'm telling you, it could be havoc. And so I'm just being honest. I'm being totally honest. Great question, it really is. But that question speaks directly to me. And if you read my book, you're going to see what I just said. I mean, I can speak true to that. I lived that. I lived that wholeheartedly. So that's important to me. That question right there is really, really important. And that's why I did not want to leave my son. I did not. I did not want her to raise my son. And my first son, I didn't want her to raise my son. I wanted to raise both my sons. I ended up getting custody when they were older, but that shows you throughout the relationship. I wanted to be with my kids. I did. I wanted to be with both my kids, and I just didn't want to be with the moms. And so that's the best way I can explain it. So hopefully that answers that question. Great question. Really, really, really great question. That one touches me even now. That question touched me right now. So great question. Kudos to you. And praise God. Read my book, Unworthy Chosen Forgiven. Hopefully by later this year, my other book will be out. Hopefully it'll work out my timeline. Just so much I'm trying to do and get done. When I get to New York and we're trying to plan it for June. So I'm doing surgery again and end of the month, but June we're trying to be in New York. I'll be on the billboards. I'm doing a little book signing up there. We got a lot of great things happening. When my first movie releases, I will let you know about that as well. So I have 2 movies supposed to be released this year and another book. So I am crazy, crazy, crazy busy. Plus I'm trying to build a church. So getting that thing going down here in Florida. So it's a lot, but to whom much given, much is required. And so as we about to, close out, and so today's Sunday, so we should be back this week, 8 o'clock on Wednesday. And so the next 2 weeks, listen in for the schedule. I'm trying to put it out because I have 2 book signings. I have 1 book signing for the next week and then possibly another one for the following week because I was supposed to be out of town, but if I'm going out of town, I'm doing another book signing. So my schedule can change a little bit to be here. So because it's a commute from Tampa back here to get to the podcast, it can be difficult. So stay tuned and look for the notifications and stuff. If you subscribe to the channel, you should be able to get it. And some people have been having difficulties, but you should be get it. And a lot of times people wait. They say I didn't get the notification, but when I put it out there, people generally get it. But we pick this back up on Wednesday and go from there. But we got some exciting things happen. I'm hoping to get another author to interview with us, and we can talk about that. I don't keep my conversation one-sided and one way. I like to be diverse, and so I can touch many people. Hey, continue to bring your questions, seriously. And this just another caveat that you can look for real life. I'm an authoritative source, so I'm giving you good information. So it applies to real life, your life, in particular. So, keep on, asking the questions and stuff like that. I appreciate it. And you see, I try to answer all the questions. And so until I grow and I like, once I get to a certain point, I might only get to do 20 questions per show or 25 questions per show, but I'll try to get as many as I possibly can because I like to go on. Even if I go over sometimes, if I have the time, I would, try to answer questions because I want to be there. And if you miss it, you could always be on the next show and ask your question. All right. So that's it. And the sooner you get your question in, the better. And don't forget, if you want to come on live, if you look at my first chat is the link. And if you want to come on live, I'll let you come on live and ask your question live. Hey, I don't mind seeing you anyway. We can, keep it real, do real talk. All right. And if you could think of a topic that you want me to discuss, hey, shoot that in. Let me know that as well. We can, get that going as well. So I think I can talk about pretty much anything. So, and we can take it and go from there. But appreciate you, and then, keep up the good work. Stay warm, as the weather's changing and stuff like that. Stay warm and stay safe. Get that shovel snowed, so you don't. I want no one to fall and stuff like that. Especially me. I'm not trying to fall anywhere. Here's my church information. If you're ever down in the Florida area, we're really close to Orlando. We're in Oviedo, Florida. That's my church. Stop by, see us and stuff like that. And hopefully you do a fellowship with us and stuff like that. So we'll be able to, commune together and stuff like that. And if you want me if you want me to come to your area and as a guest speaker, let me know. And we can, hook that up. And because I'm an international speaker as well. I'm an international preacher. So I'm able to travel to multiple places to, bring the word and stuff like that. So that's what I do as well. All right. So keep that in mind. And as we go from there, but there's my information, take a picture of it and we can go from there. Appreciate you. And so I always say faith connect to the power words, bring forth the reality of God. So I try to, keep God first in everything I do. So I hope you do the same. Appreciate you though. Seriously.
God, you taught me to trust you. You show me how to believe. You're the author and the finisher of what you started me. So I'm not gonna doubt it. I'm gonna hold on to peace. 'Cause if I have you and nothing else,